Welcome to the Crystal Library, a pocket-sized portal into the magical, mysterious, and sometimes misunderstood world of crystals. I'm your host, Ashleigh, and each week I'll guide you as we explore one enchanting stone, its history, lore, healing properties, and one easy way to invite its magic into your everyday life. Whether you're crystal curious or deep in the woo, this is your space to learn, explore, and expand your connection to the mineral realm, one glittering gem at a time. So let's open the library and see which crystal wants to speak today. Hello, and welcome back to the Crystal Library. I'm Ashleigh, and I'm so excited to be here. This is my third attempt at recording this episode because I am just coming out of some sort of cold plague situation, and my brain is not fully functioning. And that's just where we're at. But I did wake up today and I said to myself, I feel well enough to record. And so that's what we're going to do. And here we are. But I am talking about something today that is a stone that is very unlike anything that I've ever chatted about before. And it's quite possible that this is something that you've never even heard of. And I would highly recommend that you take the time to just listen to this episode and learn about it, because this is a stone. I'm going to call it a stone. That I find absolutely fascinating. And I love it because it's very mysterious and there's not a ton known about it. And if you are aware of this stone and you know more about it than I do, please reach out and let me know, because I would love to share that as well. As I was doing research on this topic, it was hard to find a lot of information about it. So I just want to preface this by saying, like, I am not the authority on this. I'm just sharing what I learned, and I am excited to share it. That's it. So I first learned about this stone called Agni Manitite, or Pearl of Fire, from Kim Charlson. And Kim is going to be on the podcast on Friday, and you'll meet her then. But she is the host of a podcast called Vessel and Voices. She is a very spiritual person. She is a channeler. She works with a spirit guide. And she told me that her favorite stone that she likes to work with is Pearl of Fire. And I was fascinated because I was like, oh my gosh, I've never even heard of this before. So that was what put me on this path, because I think it's really great when I can align the Crystal Library episode with my bigger episode on Friday. It can be listened to as a standalone episode, but it also plays into the bigger picture of what we're talking about in the week. That is how I discovered the stone, and it is not easy to do research on it, but let's get into it. So, Agni Manitite is an extremely rare natural glass. It's often classified as a tektite, and you may recall hearing the word tektite during my episode about Moldavite, because Moldavite is a tektite. But in this episode, I'm going to explain to you why Pearl of Fire and Moldavite are actually very different. So, Pearl of Fire is formed through extreme heat and impact. Its origins are mysterious, which of course I love, and its availability is limited, and its story is still unfolding. So, today we're going to spend most of our time chatting about the science of this stone and how it's formed and why it's so rare and what makes it special. But then we're also going to get into its energetic reputation and what we can use it for, if we are so lucky to ever find a piece. I've never seen it in a crystal shop. I mean, maybe I have and I just wasn't aware of it, but I personally have never come across this. So let's open up the library together and meet Agni Manitite Pearl of Fire. So, as I mentioned in the intro, this is a rare natural glass, and it's often marketed as Pearl of Fire or Pearl of the Divine Fire. It's primarily found in Java, Indonesia. The colors range from deep black, charcoal, smoky, sometimes translucent. Here's a picture I printed out of it. To me, it kind of looks like a meteorite. Now, it looks big in this picture because I blew it up, but I mean, usually I think pieces are pretty small. And I only printed off this one picture, but you can obviously Google it and I'll try to post some pictures of it on my social media. But if you shine a light behind it, it can look translucent in some instances. As I mentioned before, it's commonly described as a tektite. It's a natural glass formed by extreme heat. Some sources classify it as a pseudotektite, meaning its exact formation is still being debated. The prevailing theories of this stone are that there was a meteorite impact over the Indonesian archipelago, that it's from extreme heat or liquefying surface material, or that molten matter cooled rapidly and turned it into a glass. Unlike Moldavite, Pearl of Fire specimens are now mostly underwater, which contributes to its extreme rarity. We don't all, the sources don't all fully agree on how it's formed. So most known pieces are recovered from ocean environments. There's no clearly documented impact crater where this could have come from. So that means that the sources of it are limited and it's very difficult to retrieve this material. So if you are sourcing this, you have to make sure that it's ethically sourced. And if you see listings for it, which it is either cheap or there's an abundance of it, you have to be very questioning of that because, like Moldavite, it's very rare. So Moldavite is very expensive and usually only comes in tiny pieces. Similarly here, if you see a big pallet of Pearl of Fire and it's cheap, you should be thinking this is probably fake. So the name comes from Sanskrit, Agni meaning fire and Mani meaning pearl or jewel. So it's kind of like this fire as transformation, pearl as something formed through pressure and time. It's contained fire. It's not chaos. It's like a contained burn, like the firefighters do. So it's strongly connected with our solar plexus chakra, which is all about personal will, confidence, direction. It's often described as highly activating, energizing, and it does not have a subtle energy. Most people work with it for manifestation purposes because this is a stone that is focused more on our intention and not just wishful thinking. It's about having creativity and passion, and it's a stone that tells you, are you going to be manifesting? If you're going to be manifest something, then you actually have to put in the work to make whatever it is that you're manifesting come true. It doesn't just happen. It's not like you just say, well, I want to have a highly successful 7-figure business in 2 years, but then you don't put any work into it. That doesn't even make sense. So it doesn't work for you. It really works with your energy. So how this ties back to my conversation with Kim, it's often associated with leadership, with purpose, with stepping into your visibility. And it's about clarity and alignment and being trusted. And this stone might resonate with someone whose work very much focuses on their voice, like other podcasters or speakers or people that are in leadership roles. So, how do we care for this particular stone, if we have it in our collection, we would probably want to cleanse it with either smoke, sound, moonlight, or selenite. If you want to rinse it with water, you can do that briefly and pat dry. You want to avoid direct sunlight. You just want to be gentle with it because we don't know everything about its properties. It's just better to work with it in that way. I love how through this podcast I've found so many different stones and crystals that I've never even heard about before. This stone, it didn't really seek me out. It just found its way to me because of someone else that I had chatted with, and I think that's really cool. I love how this stone really teaches me that there's still so much to learn. There's still so many stones to learn about, and we as humans don't know everything about all of these stones and all of their properties and what they are truly meant and good for. So that's why Agni Manitite is a stone that reminds me how much there still is to learn, and I love that. We don't know everything. This stone doesn't announce itself loudly. It doesn't flood the market. It doesn't come with all the answers and neatly packaged. Its story, like its formation, is shaped by impact, pressure, heat, and time. I love that this crystal entered my awareness not through a trend, but through a conversation, through curiosity, through listening to someone else speak about what they love and what they work with. And maybe that's part of its teaching. Pearl of Fire is often associated with personal will, direction, and focused fire, not the kind that burns everything down, but the kind that knows where it's going, the kind that asks us to be honest about what we want to bring into form and what we're willing to act on. So I'll leave you with this reflection. What kind of fire are you carrying? And where do you want to go? What are you working on? What are you manifesting? I'm very interested in that. And thank you for spending this time with me in the Crystal Library. And if you're curious to hear more about Agni Manitite through lived experience and voice, keep an eye out for my episode with Kim Charlson that will be coming out on Friday. Until next time, stay curious, stay grounded, and keep listening for what's still waiting to be discovered. Bye. Thank you for visiting the Crystal Library. I hope today's stone offered just the magic you needed. If you loved this episode, share it with your favorite mystic and tag me on Instagram at mystical.mama.ash or at Big Crystal Energy Podcast. And if you're feeling generous, leave a 5-star rating and review. It helps this magic reach more curious souls. Until next time, keep your crystals close and your intuition closer.